What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Temokem. Very excited to receive you guys to yet another video, guys. A lot of stuff to talk about today in our video. We're going to be talking a lot about sports, more specifically, and of course we're going to be talking about Jurgen Klopp, who is making the headlines now in the news after having a heated argument with journalists over his comments he made earlier on about African football being a small tournament. Also going to be looking at the Cameroon Football Federation, what's going on in FECAFOOT. It just announced their final list of candidates to run in for the elections for the presidency of FECAFOOT. We shall be looking at some of those candidates that have been selected. Actually, 6 candidates have been selected to go in for the elections, including Sebastian and of course Samuel Eto'o. Also going to be looking at African performances in the European competitions, most specifically in the Champions League. And also Cameroon risks not being the host for AFCON 2021, which will be staged of course in January 2022, following recent comments by the committee set in charge of supervising the organization, or the CAF committee in charge of supervising the the works, stating that the stadia are not very prepared, most especially the Japanese, the Olembe Stadium in Yaoundé that will host the opening match and of course the closing match of that competition. All right, guys, so we shall be looking at all these things and even more in today's video, so don't go nowhere. Alright, guys, welcome back to the channel. And so just to begin with today's video, we'll talk about Jurgen Klopp, the manager of Liverpool. For those who don't know him, he's been on the headlines today in the news after he made comments about the African Nations Cup, which is going to be hosted by Cameroon in 2022. That's the month of January, being a small tournament. He was called up by journalists during a press conference where the journalists told him that he owed an apology to the African people, he owed an apology to the players, and he owed an apology to the continent as a whole, following his comments about AFCON being a small tournament. And of course this was made by an exchange of words between the journalist and of course the manager, who on his part stated clearly that he never intended by any means to downgrade the tournament or to call it a small tournament per se, but then he only meant to say that during the course of this period there shall be no international break, but for January where there shall be once more the small tournament. So it's very controversial. I don't want to take any sides. I don't know exactly what he intended to say, but he clearly stated that it wasn't his intention to kind of downplay the AFCON. And of course we'll be keeping our eyes and our fingers crossed on that particular story. We also going to be looking at Cameroon as host of AFCON 2021 that will be staged in 2022, guys. It is now very clear that Cameroon might not even be able to host the organization because following a statement by CAF, the stadia or the state of the stadia is not very complete, most especially the Olembe Stadium in Yaoundé that will be hosting the opening that will be hosting the opening match, and of course the final of the tournament. So Cameroon still lacking behind. Remember that Cameroon was actually supposed to be the host in 2019, but then after their unpreparedness, they had to be the tournament was handed over to Egypt, who hosted the tournament, and Cameroon was expected against all odds to host the tournament this 2021, which was later on postponed to 2022 due to the coronavirus. That gave Cameroon more time to prepare, but seemingly the state of the stadia, maybe other infrastructures, is not very appealing to the CAF. And this is very controversial because it's not been very long where CAF affirmed, and they even signed an accord between Cameroon and the CAF stating that Cameroon was 100% going to host this competition. So this recent information about they not being prepared is very controversial, and then we really don't know what is going on. But we hope that Cameroon, as a Cameroonian, first of all, I really hope that we get to host the the AFCON, because the AFCON brings a lot of benefits to a nation. It brings a lot of benefit economically, even sports wise. I mean, so much money has been invested in this tournament, and it's going to be a very big shame if the Cameroonian people are not going to behold the sight of all the great African players, playing their football on Cameroonian soil. And so we are keeping our eyes set on that to see whether the Cameroon government is going to be able to turn the situation around, or whether CAF is going to still maintain Cameroon as the host country for the AFCON 2022. And talking about Cameroon again, just very recently, I mean a matter of hours ago, the Federation of Cameroonian Football, the FECAFOOT, has just published a list of 6 candidates that have been approved, or whose candidates have been approved, and they will be standing in for the presidential election with what concerns the Federation of Cameroonian Football, that is to say the head of the FECAFOOT body. And candidates like Samuel Eto'o, who is already someone in the house, a household name when it comes to football in Cameroon. I mean, when it comes to the FECAFOOT itself, having managed the organization and still the head of the organization as at now. And we also have the likes of Samuel Eto'o, who is, I mean, it's a household name. It's a world-class individual. He rubs shoulders with the very best in the world, and I think that Samuel Eto'o has been getting so much support from so many persons all around the globe. So many persons, football lovers, have been giving their support for the candidate. They feel that because of the mass the fame he gained at the professional level, he can also transfer this good things into the Federation of Cameroonian Football, and build a sustainable football for the Cameroonian people. So many people have given their support to Samuel Eto'o, and we are going to be seeing. I think that there are the 2 main candidates for me who we should be keeping an eye on, not forgetting or not disrespecting other candidates. But of course, Samuel Eto'o and Samuel Eto'o they're gonna be like the 2 major candidates. So we're gonna be seeing how he's gonna play. Is Samuel Eto'o gonna use his experience, being someone in the house, to be able to conquer Samuel Eto'o, or Samuel Eto'o's fame, and popularity is gonna lead him to victory over Samuel Eto'o? We shall be keeping our eyes on that. And then talking about Cameroonian players or African players in general that are playing that trade all over the world, most especially in Europe, in the Champions League, the biggest club football competition. So Mumin Gamale and Young Boys, who drew 3-3 at home to Atalanta and must win Manchester United on the final day of group match at Old Trafford to keep hopes of Europa League knockout spot alive. The winger Mumin Gamale also provided an assist for his side's 3-3 draw. And also Jerome Ongene and Salzburg lost 0-1 away to Lille of France, and lost top spot in Group G, thereby needing to beat Sevilla or at least draw to secure qualification for knockout stages of the Champions League. And also, on his return to the starting 11, Andre Onana of Ajax Amsterdam secured victory over Besiktas, thereby assuring top spot of their group and securing qualification for the knockout stages with a game to spare. And also, the Indomitable Lions captain Choupo-Moting did not participate in Bayern's 2-1 victory away to Dynamo Kiev after testing positive for the COVID-19. Bayern, however, qualified as group winners with a game to spare. And take note, they have that very huge clash against FC Barcelona. Barcelona needing a victory to be able to assure qualification into the knockout stages. So we also have Zambo Anguissa's Napoli, who succumbed to a 2-1 loss to Russian club Spartak Moscow, and battling the victory in the final day of the group stage at home to Leicester to secure qualification for the knockout stages. And so that was all we had with what concerns Cameroonian players in the Champions League and also in the Europa League. But then we shall bring you up to date with any other eventual performances as the Europa League and the Europa Conference League are going to be played later on tonight. And also over to other African performance in Europe, we have Liverpool's African stars Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, and of course Cameroonian Juan Matip, who took part in Liverpool's convincing 2-0 victory over Porto. We also had DR Congo's Mbemba in the defense in their ranks, and in this confirms Liverpool's supremacy in the competition, as they are one of only 3 teams with a 100% record in this year's today's Champions League. And also Haller, the man who is making the highlights across European papers and African papers, Ivory Coast Sebastian Haller can't stop scoring as he gets 2 goals for his side to take his tally to 9 goals in just 5 matches in his maiden Champions League season, putting him joint top scorer alongside Bayern's Robert Lewandowski. Chelsea's Senegalese goalkeeper sensation of Edouard Mendy continued his fine form in goal as Chelsea beat Juventus 4-0 and secured qualification for the knockout stages. Alright guys, that was it for today's video. Apologies if we didn't mention certain African stars, because Africa has produced so many good performances over the week in the Champions League and even in other competitions. So apologies if we haven't talked about any African player, but of course we cannot talk about them all. We're going to be bringing you up to date with all the star performances, and of course we hope that in the coming edition we're going to be talking about more and more players of African descent who are playing their trade in Europe and across the globe. And also guys, we hope that you like the video. Please remember to leave a comment in the comment section of what you think. Tell us what you think about Jurgen Klopp's comment about African football being a small competition, despite his claims that he wasn't actually referring to the competition as small. Tell us what you think about the Federation of Cameroonian Football, going through or having accepted 6 candidates to running for the elections as president. Tell us what you think about Cameroon risks or being at risk of not hosting the AFCON 2022. Tell us what you think about the performances of Cameroonian stars across Europe and also African stars, most notably Ivorian sensation Sebastian Haller, who has just taking the whole Champions League by surprise and the whole world by surprise, because little do we know that he was going to be this big, having gone through the likes of West Ham United in England, I think, and not being very successful. He came to Holland, and then he's been tearing it up in the Champions League and even in the league. So we hope that you leave a comment about what you think about the video, guys. Please remember to share the video, subscribe to the channel, guys. Until the next video, bye bye.